Imagine an empire, rich and powerful, spanning thousands of miles, with grand cities and a thriving civilization. Now, imagine it vanishing, not over centuries, not over decades, but in a single, catastrophic night. This isn't the plot of a fantasy novel. It's the real, baffling story of the Akkadian Empire, and it's a mystery that has stumped historians for generations. So, who were the Akkadians? Around 4,300 years ago, a visionary leader named Sargon the Great united the scattered city-states of Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, creating what many consider the world's very first empire. This wasn't just a military conquest, it was a revolution. The Akkadians standardized weights and measures, built extensive road networks for trade and communication, and established a postal service. Their art reached new heights of realism, and their influence stretched from the shores of the Mediterranean to the mountains of Anatolia. They were, for all intents and purposes, the superpowers of their time. Their capital, Akkad, was said to be a jewel of the ancient world, a city of immense wealth and splendor. But here's the catch. To this day, no one has ever found it. The legendary city of Akkad remains lost to the sands of time. For over a century, the Akkadian Empire flourished under Sargon and his successors. They seemed invincible, a permanent fixture of the ancient world. And then, around 2154 BC, they just disappear. Historical records from neighboring civilizations go eerily silent. The bustling trade routes fell quiet. The once mighty empire was gone, seemingly overnight. What could possibly cause such a sudden and complete collapse? This is where the real mystery begins. For years, the prevailing theory was simple. Barbarian invasions. Neighboring tribes, like the Gushans, were said to have swept down from the mountains and overwhelmed the empire. It's a classic story we've seen throughout history. But there's a problem with this theory. Archaeological evidence of widespread destruction, the kind you'd expect from a massive invasion, is surprisingly scarce. There are no layers of ash and rubble across all Akkadian cities. No signs of a final, epic battle. The collapse seems to have been more of an implosion than a violent conquest. It's like everyone just packed up and left. But why? And where did they go? This is when a geologist named Harvey Weiss came along in the 1990s and proposed a truly groundbreaking idea. While excavating an ancient Akkadian site in northern Syria, he discovered something strange. The soil layers showed a dramatic shift. Below a certain point, the soil was rich and dark, indicating a landscape that supported farming. Above it, there were inches of wind-blown sand and dust, signs of a severe, prolonged drought. It was a climate catastrophe frozen in time. Weiss's theory was radical. The Akkadian Empire didn't fall to an enemy army. It fell to the climate. He proposed that a massive, centuries-long drought, what scientists now call the 4.2 kiloyear event, struck the region. The northern plains, the breadbasket of the empire, turned it to dust. The rains stopped, crops failed, and the rivers that were the lifeblood of Mesopotamia dwindled. Famine would have been rampant. People would have starved. The intricate system of trade and tribute that held the empire together would have shattered. Suddenly, the mystery started to make sense. People weren't just leaving, they were fleeing. Desperate climate refugees from the dried-out north would have poured into the southern cities, overwhelming their resources and causing social chaos. Imagine millions of people suddenly on the move, all searching for food and water that no longer existed. It would have been a humanitarian crisis on an unimaginable scale. The government, unable to feed its people or maintain order, would have simply disintegrated. There was no enemy to fight, only an unforgiving climate. This theory is supported by evidence from all over the world. Ice cores from Greenland, lake sediments in Africa, and cave stalagmites in Asia all show a distinct climate anomaly right around the same time. It was a global event, and the Akkadian Empire happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ancient texts from the period, once dismissed as myths, now read like chilling eyewitness accounts. One poem, known as the Curse of Akkad, describes a time of chaos. The large fields and meadows produced no grain. The fisheries produced no fish. The watered gardens produced no honey and wine. It sounds less like a curse and more like a description of a devastating drought. But, as with any great historical mystery, the story isn't that simple. Not all historians are convinced. Some argue that while the drought was real, it can't be the sole reason for the collapse. They point out that empires are complex systems. They suggest that political instability, internal rebellions, and economic weaknesses may have already been eating away at the empire from within. The drought, they argue, was simply the final push, the straw that broke the camel's back. Perhaps the empire was already a hollow shell, and the climate crisis just exposed its fragility. After all, societies have survived droughts before and since. What was so different about the Akkadians? Was it a failure of leadership? Did their rigid, centralized system lack the flexibility to adapt? Or was the drought just so severe, so unprecedented, that no society, no matter how advanced, could have withstood it? These are the questions that keep archaeologists and historians up at night. The fall of Akkad serves as a powerful, haunting lesson from the past. It shows us that no matter how powerful or technologically advanced the civilization becomes, it is ultimately at the mercy of the natural world. Their grand cities, their powerful armies, their sophisticated bureaucracy, none of it could save them when the rains stopped falling. It's a humbling reminder of our own vulnerability in the face of climate change. Today, the search continues. Archaeologists are still digging, hoping to finally uncover the lost city of Akkad and find more definitive answers. Each new discovery, each ancient clay tablet deciphered, adds another piece to the puzzle. But perhaps some mysteries are never meant to be fully solved. The story of the empire that vanished in a night remains one of history's greatest enigmas, a silent testament to a world lost beneath the sands. What do you think happened to the Akkadian Empire? Was it a climate catastrophe, a political failure, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed diving into historical mysteries like this one, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. See you next time.